Hello, hello. Another pen for you today. This one is the Lemon M2S. I recently reviewed the Lemon M1, and this is pretty much the same for size and etc. shape and whatnot. It's pretty much a dual-fold imitation, tribute, whatever you want to call it. Whereas the Lemon M1 was a metal pen. This is acrylic, and this particular one has the metal band around it. Pattern. So this one is the dragon. I want to say it was called Azure Dragon. You can get red, blue, I think, potentially black with different motifs along here. But you're pretty much looking at another duofold-esque pen, just with the acrylic and metal banding there. So let's take a little look at this. So I saw that they came out, Lemon this is, came out with an M2. M2 is the acrylic version, so all acrylic, barring furniture, etc, etc. But having had like a Jinhao 100 and the Moonman, I want to say M600, which are the duofold kind of copy things. I thought the acrylic might be a bit light for me. I liked the weight on the Lemon M1. So this metal does add a little bit of weight. I mean, it's also a piston filler, so it's probably not going to be quite as light as, say, like the Jinhao 100. So let's take a little look. So you've got the Parker-esque arrow clip there. It kind of bulges up a little bit in the middle and is quite stiff, but works. Two cap rings there which have nothing on them. They are just gold in colour. Up here you've got a dragon finial to go with the dragon motif on the barrel. So this is a metal, and it's what's the word? It's pronounced, so it's not smooth. You can feel that etching in there. I don't know if the technical term is embossed, but yeah, you can feel the texture of the patterns on there, and it's quite nice. And there's a little bit of weight in there as well, so it does add a little bit of substance to what otherwise might be a little bit lighter. And then you've got a piston turning knob up here of the same acrylic as the cap. And I must say, the acrylic's quite nice. It's kind of in my, I like a greeny, tealy, you know. But it's quite nice. It's actually got a reasonable amount of depth in there, and that kind of half crushed ice. A little bit of perhaps glitteriness on there. So as you saw, that is a screw cap, and it unscrews in just over 1.5. You've got a number 6 size dual tone steel nib with lemon on there and fine. This is a fine plastic feed. Section just tapers in ever so slightly before flaring back out before the nib, and the screw threads are pretty comfortable. I'd say actually you probably feel that a little bit more than the threads there, but not in an uncomfortable way. To me, you can feel that on there, but it's not sharp, and it's not so pronounced that you're going to get like heaps of friction on your hand or anything like that. Does it hit post? Not really. So it sits on that piston knob, but not securely, and it will just come off. So I'm going to say it does not post. Piston filling pen, but no ink window on this one. So on the M1, which I've just put away again in a second. So on the M1, you do have an ink window there underneath hidden by the cap, but on here you do not. So you don't have an ink window to check your ink level there. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for me, however I know for some it would be. So yeah, you're going to have to basically just write till you're dry before you top up. But there you go. Sorry, plain flat finial on the top out of that acrylic as well. Shall we look at some measurements? So length up here in millimeters, 137.2, 127.6 uncapped, and does not post, I'm going to say. Weight in grams, so not stupidly light, not stupidly heavy, but a good substantial feel in the hand there. All in grams. Barrel 13.1, pretty much all the way along there. Obviously you can see the knob, the piston knob tapers off a little bit. Section 11.3 up here, down to about 10.4 just before that flares back out there. So yeah, I must say it does feel comfortable and substantial in the hand, and if you've got the idea of a size of a dual fold, you can have a vague idea of the size of this. But let's have a little look, if I can line that up for you. There you go. So you've got the M1 and the M2S, which are pretty much exactly the same. I think the M2S is just slightly longer, but ever so slightly. Next to a Lamy 2000, Moonman P136, Diplomat Excellence A2, Jinhao X159, and a Pelican M1000. And I could also chuck a Twisby Eco in there if you like. Nice. Let's see how it writes. So, sorry, the hair on my screen. Let me focus this up a little bit for you. So we have the oh dear. We have the oh dear. We have the oh dear. Oh, we have oh. Yeah, see, this nib doesn't really write, which is a bit of a problem, being that it's a pen. So, I mean, at the minute, it's not really. It's kind of a decorative table ornament. This nib doesn't write. Push it a bit. Anything? No, doesn't write. So, basically, you can see the ink, right, in the feed there. But it's not coming onto the page. It just doesn't do it. Was it always like that, you ask? Pretty much. So beyond filling it, and obviously then you've got your nib and your feed saturated, it was able to write, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a bit of scratch there, but probably just a bit of misalignment, etc., etc. Ran dry pretty quickly, and will not write. Now you can flood the feed, obviously, by turning the piston knob there, and then oh, it still doesn't write. Now I must say, it's not very often that I get a nib that just does not write. So I mean, if we can take a little look at the tines here, if I can focus that in, it does look to me like that gap is kind of coming out too much. So might have a little play with that and see what I can do with it. But I wanted to show it how it came to me and out of the box. And out of the box, you can see I've just flooded that feed there. Or I did, but you know, do it again even more if I turn that piston knob and flood ink into there. See that? Good. Now then, still does not put any ink down on that page. So that's a short writing sample. What do I think of the pen? Well, it's not a pen. It is a desk ornament at the minute because it doesn't write, which is a shame because I like the colour of that acrylic. I like the shape of the pen. I quite like this dragon, whatever you like, mural, band, drawing, etching. I quite like how it feels in my hands. But it's not really a pen at the minute. So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it doesn't write. So yeah, I'm going to I'll have a little play and see if I can make it right and maybe post an update. But as it arrived to me, that nib does not write, even if I flood that nib and feed from the piston. So that is not very good at all. Price of that, it was like £17-18, including post from AliExpress. As I say, it's not often I get a pen that just doesn't write. I can get scratchy nibs, or whatever, bit dry, or hard starty, or skip, or whatever. Odds and sods, problems, they're all problems. That's a biggie, does not write at all. So perhaps lemon is not quite the one, because if you saw my review of the M1 as well, the nib writes nicely when it writes, but it is prone to dry up a little bit, and I had that down to like this loose cap finial here. This one is nice and tight, but it doesn't write. I suppose I could put that cap on there for a bit. I don't know. Can you? For a bit of mixy matchy? Might not actually, because there's metal threads on here. Let's see. No, can't even do that. So the one bit of use you were going to be, you're not. So yeah, there was nib issues with this, as well as the cap issues. Big nib issues with this. I don't think I'll be in a rush to buy another lemon, because do you know what? It's soured my experience. Hope this was reasonable entertainment for you. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.